back with another chapter of Meaning of the Mind by LizzeXX. We're currently on chapter 20, which is part 2 of the Rise of the Cybermen episode. So if you want to follow along, which I really do highly recommend you do, links for both fanfiction.net and archive are in the description below as always. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. The only difference is archive will have pictures for once per episode. So it might be this chapter, it might be the next chapter. Who knows? But anyway, let's just get right into this, shall we, with Chapter 20, Rise of the Cybermen, A Companionable Split. Angela and Mickey looked down as the doctor stood in the grilling, just underneath the console, ripping out some rather important-looking items that Mickey was sure probably would have sparked or set fire to something had the TARDIS not been seemingly permanently powered down at the moment. Oh, be careful, Angel cried, avoiding a mess of wires that was thrown out. I'm gonna have to fix all that later. She pulled Mickey into a duck as bits of old tubing were tossed back, sailing over their heads. I'd rather not have you rip everything out. Put it to life, he cried, excited. And you won't be for long when the TARDIS is back and working, Angel reminded him, kneeling down beside the opening. She'll murder you for this. The doctor paused for only a moment, considering her words. Nah. He shook his head, throwing a wink at her over his shoulder. You'll fix everything up right as rain for me before that happens, right? Angel smiled softly and had to laugh. Of course I will, she nodded, reaching out to gently touch his face. I can't lose my mate now, can I? He beamed, turning his head to drop a kiss onto her fingers before he turned back to his digging. Angel blushing a bit, pulling her hand back as Mickey smirked. He really was happy for her, though. That look just then, that look between Angel and the doctor, he and Rose used to have that look. Or, you don't know, maybe they didn't. He knew he certainly looked at Rose that way, and he realized she never really had returned that look. He should have known, really, figured it out ages ago, but he always did that. Ever since he was a kid, he'd just grab on to the nearest thing and hold on. Rose had been there for him during quite a few tough times in his life. He hadn't wanted to lose the comfort he associated with her. He blinked, frowning as he realized comfort. That was what he associated with Rose. Not not love. Well, that was something. He paused a moment. Huh. It didn't hurt as much as he thought it would to realize Rose didn't really love him. Not in that way. But he was okay with it. Because, he supposed, in a way he had loved Rose. But he had had to grow up quite a bit during that first year she spent with the doctor. He'd grown distant. They both had. Not just because of her traveling, but he started to realize that she really wouldn't stay and that she had changed. The Rose he knew wouldn't have left him in the middle of a crumbling Cardiff with no idea what was going on. She probably have pulled into the nearest doorway thinking it was an earthquake. And that was fine, because he changed too. He changed. He blinked. He really had. Months ago, he wouldn't have ever even let the idea of Rose leaving make its way into his mind. And here he was, thinking of it, but without the bitterness. Rose had her own life, her own friends, her own sense of self. Traveling with the doctor had helped her to grow and find out who she was, the sort of person she wanted to be. And now it was his turn to find out who he wanted to be, who he'd be, with Angel there to help him. He smiled, listened to him sounding all mature and noble. He shook his head, seeing the doctor slowly straighten and then, with a small object in his hand. What is it? He asked. It's nothing. The doctor started to smile, turning to Angel, cupping the object in his hand to show her. Tiny. One of those insignificant power cells that no one ever bothers about, and bring on to life. But one little ounce of reality tucked away inside. Enough to get us home. Not just yet, Angel said, as the doctor handed her the power cell before pulling himself up onto the groin beside her. We just need to charge it up. We could go outside and latch it up to the national grid. Angel laughed with a smile. That would definitely power any other power cell, 100%. But for this, she held up the cell to show Mickey. It's the wrong energy. Angel looked back down at the cell, moving it between her and the doctor smiling at her softly, proud. He loved hearing her talk so comfortably, talk about something she knew, and TARDISes were definitely something she knew inside and out. It will only work if it's energy from our universe. But we don't have anything. There's us, the doctor said as he leaned over Angel, placing his hands around hers, both of them blowing softly on the cell in Angel's hands, making it glow. Angel starting to blush a bit, feeling the doctor's breath on her hands was a nice feeling. Feeling his thumbs absently running over the back of her hand was even nice. Her hands were even nicer. We each just gave away 5 years of our lives. The doctor beamed. For every second, he laughed as Angel smiled as well. Rose sat on a bench by the Thames, searching Peter Tyler on the Cybers network. Going out? Is that okay? Mickey looked at them, concerned as the cell started to phase. The doctor opened his mouth to answer when Angel beat him to it. It's just on a recharging cycle. She smiled as it glowed brighter again, pulsing. It'll keep looping around till it fully powers back up. She looked up at Mickey. Only needs about 24 hours before we can get back. The doctor took the cell and kissed it, before leaning in and kissing Angel as well. You are brilliant, he told her softly, beaming at her. Stop it, she whispered, playfully nudging him. It seemed the doctor had been serious during the discussion after helping Renette. He really was dead set on proving to her how amazing he thought she was. The way he looked at her, the way he moved around her, the way he kept touching her. She was finding it harder and harder to keep believing that she wasn't worth him, especially when he looked at her with that sparkle in his eyes that only ever flared to life around her. It took her breath away and made her heart race to see him looking at her like she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. He really made her try as hard as she could to establish the mental bond with him, just so she could see truly what he thought of her. It was turning out to be more difficult than Eva had anticipated, though. So that gives us 24 hours in the parallel world, Mickey asked, excited. Surely, the doctor nodded, tossing the cell in the air and catching it again. As long as we keep our heads down, easy, no problem. He stood up, reaching out to help Angel to her feet, not letting go of her hand as he entwined their fingers together. We should tell Rose the good news, she cheered. The doctor, Angel, and Mickey walked along the sidewalk by the tent until they spotted Rose. There you are, the doctor cried. You alright? No applause. We fixed it. He pulled out the cell to show her. 24 hours, then we're flying back to reality. He sat down on the bench beside her, holding it up, but she didn't even notice. Rose? Angel asked, sitting down on the other side of her, as Mickey stood at the end of the bench. She reached out and put her hand on Rose's shoulder. What's wrong? My phone's connected, Rose sighed. There's this cyber, cyber network. It finds your phone. It gave me internet access. Rose, whatever it says, this is the wrong world, the doctor reminded her. I don't exist. What do you mean? Angel shook her head. Of course you exist. You're sitting right here. She poked her in the arm. Real and solid. No, I mean, there's no Rose Viola here in this world. I was never born. There's Pete, my dad, and Jackie. He's still married mum. But they never had kids. Give me that phone. The doctor tried to snatch it away. Rose just pulled it back. They're rich. They've got a house and cars and everything they want, she found. They haven't got me. She stood and walked off to look at the river before turning to face them. I've got to see him. You can't. I just want to see him. We can't let you. You just said 24 hours. Do you remember the last time you wanted to see your father? Angel glared, suddenly angry. We told you not to, and guess what happened? You didn't listen and nearly destroyed the world. She really had no idea where the anger was coming from. No, that wasn't entirely true. It was the doctor. It was what happened to him as a result of Rose's actions. She couldn't even bring herself to say it out loud just then. She could still remember exactly how she felt seeing the doctor taken by the reapers. The despair, the crushing pain, the fear. the heartbreaking realization that she was alone again. She could feel herself getting upset just thinking about it. If Pete hadn't managed to fix everything, if she truly was the doctor, she felt someone take her hand and she looked over to see it was the doctor. She knew he hadn't felt her emotions. They hadn't come anywhere near being ready to take that step. But she knew what he'd say as an excuse. Apparently, this version of her wore her heart on her sleeve. Her expressions gave away her feelings, and she must have looked devastated if the pain expression on his face was anything to go by. He hated seeing her upset. She took a breath, reminding herself that he was still there with her, and squeezed his hand, reassuring him she was fine as well, that she would be fine. Well, that won't happen this time, Rose countered, because he's alive here. You can't become their daughter. That's not the way it works. The doctor turned and stood abruptly, starting to get upset as well. Vicky, tell her. 24 hours, yeah? Vicky mumbled in thought before he took a step back. Where are you going? The doctor looked at him. Well, I can do what I want. I've got the address and everything. Rose started walking backwards too. Stay where you are, both of you, the doctor shouted, looking between them. Rose, come back here. Vicky, come back here right now. I just want to see him. Yeah, I've got things to see and all, Vicky nodded. Like what? The doctor glared. Well, you don't know anything about me, do you? Mickey glared at him and turned. It's always about Rose. I'm just a spare part. Not to me, Mickey. Angel got up and stepped towards them. You're my companion. I'm sorry, Rose mumbled, turning to walk away. I've got to go. Go on then, Mickey scoffed at the doctor. No choice, is there? He's right, Angel got in, looking at the doctor as she rubbed her head. You go with your companion, and I'll go with mine. Angel, the doctor began, not liking the idea of being separated. Really not liking the idea. While he did trust Nikki to keep her safe, he'd rather be the one keeping her protected, being there for her, being her hero. He knew she loved it when he played the hero, her very own knight in shining armor. It's the only way we can make sure they both stay out of trouble. He sighed. He couldn't argue with that. As she had pointed out on numerous occasions, Nikki was her companion. She was as determined to protect and look after the boy as he had been, and still was with Rose. It was all about responsibility, and he couldn't ask her to abandon her companion. He just had to trust that everything would be alright. Not an easy thing to do, given how his psychic mate seemed to have been blindfolded for the moment. He reached into his pocket and tossed her the power cell. Back here in 24 hours. Of course. She smiled slightly, knowing why he'd given her the cell. It was part of the TARDIS, and, if he couldn't be with her, he wanted something of his, of theirs, to be with her instead. She stepped up to him and gave him a quick peck. I could never stay away from you for too long, she added. She moved to join Mickey when the doctor pulled her back, kissing her deeply, leaving her rather breathless when he pulled away. Actually, he'd take a few moments to gather his bearings himself as he rested his forehead against her own, smiling softly. He loved that feeling of being so happy it felt like his heart would burst. He looked up at Mickey, the man smirking at them. I'm trusting you to take care of her, he told the boy, serious. Mickey nodded resolutely. I'd never let anything happen to her, he promised, meaning it. The doctor nodded as Angel squeezed his hand and moved back to her companion. You can count on me, boss, Mickey smiled, giving a little salute, just happy that Angel had chosen him and stuck with him, her companion, instead of going with Rose, her friend. The doctor shook his head, watching her go, waiting till Angel disappeared around the corner before he remembered. Rose! He turned and jogged after his own wayward companion, catching up to her a short ways down the road. Louis stepped and touched down on an airstrip as a car pulled up and a black man and two guards stepped out to see Pete already there. Mr. Tyler, the man greeted as he approached. What's the matter? Can't wait until tonight? Mr. President. Pete shook his hand. Honored. I'm on the fast track program. Cyber Synergy have pulled up my company, so I'm part of the club now. Some people say they brought my government. I've never heard anybody say that. Never. He winked and gave a thumbs up. You can trust me on this. I've tried to drink. That toxic tech stuff. Tastes like pop. Well, it is pop. You made money by selling a health food drink into a sick world. Not quite the honorary Joe you appear to be, are you? Pete looked like he didn't know what to say. The president sighed. He does like to keep us waiting. He walked off, Pete following till they reached the steps of the Zeppelin. Tell me, you've had a chance to observe John Mimic more than most. What's your opinion? He's very sharp, I'd say. Sharp as ever. Very clever man. Brilliant, in fact. Then you don't think he's insane? That's not the word I would have used. No. I see. The president nodded, turning to climb into the Zeppelin as Pete followed. Ada laughed as Nikki snapped up yet another glance at her. He'd been doing that for a while, just casually glancing at her. She catched him sometimes with this look that was a cross between confused and touched. It made her curious. What is it? I just can't believe you wanted to go with me, he shrugged, trying to play off how much it actually meant to him. I mean, Rose and you, we're friends, yeah, but you are my companion. I'm always going to pick you, Angel said simply, and she meant it. He knew that. Angel, he noticed, was the sort of person who said exactly what she thought and felt. It was highly amusing when her inner thoughts commented on some sort of situation or person. Often she'd make a remark that would left him in stitches, while also having said it so innocently that the other person just couldn't be offended. Confused, yes, but not offended. He grinned shyly, a warmth bubbling up in his chest at that. I always pick you too. My pilot, after all. Angel smiled back at him, reaching out to link her arm with ease. You know, I've actually wanted you to go on adventures since I met you. He looked at her, shocked. Really? Yeah. She laughed just a bit. I was really torn when you didn't come back with Rose off the whole Margaret the Sabine thing. Torn? She nodded. Like I said, I wanted you to come, but if you had come, you would have been the doctor's companion and not mine. Seeing his slightly confused look, she explained. The TARDIS will only respond to and protect those that the pilot trusts, their companions. I hadn't been bound to the TARDIS then, so he let out a little laugh, nudging her. You really wanted me to be your companion that badly, huh? Even over Captain Cheesecake? She laughed. Of course. She nudged him back. I wanted you to be my first companion, Mickey. Why? She smiled at him. There's just something about you, Mrs. Smith. Something special. His grin faded as he looked down. I'm not special. I'm just an idiot. Oh, I don't believe that for a moment, she cheered, squeezing his arm with her other hand. But he sighed, not sure how to phrase it. You and the doctor, you're brilliant. I suppose, she nodded, seeing where he was going, recalling a similar conversation she and the doctor had had recently. So what makes you think I'd ever take anyone less than fantastic as my companion? Mickey looked at her, shocked at her implication. I'm not quite sure what you are yet, Mickey, but I can't wait to find out. He looked at her as she smiled at him, the warmth from his chest returning tenfold. He'd never really had anyone believe in him that much. Think he was extraordinary. Plain old Mickey Smith he was. But the way Angel looked at him, included him, supported him, stuck with him, believed in him, he could, for a moment, believe it too. Now come on. She slipped her arm away from him. Let's go meet your gran. He blinked in surprise as she jogged off. How was you? Did you forget already? She turned to him, walking backwards. I'm psychic. She winked playfully. It wasn't that. She hadn't had any feelings since they'd arrived in the parallel world. But she remembered Minnie mentioning the departed ground once or twice when they would talk. She was really the only person he had besides Rose and Jackie, and well, Rose apparently didn't exist in this world, so it was safe to assume that Jackie here wouldn't know who he was. That just left his ground to check on. She could only hope the woman might still be alive in this world. Mickey just looked at her, stunned, before laughing and running after her. He grabbed her around the middle, swinging her around before pulling her into a small headlock, nudging her head a moment as she laughed before pulling away. He laughed as she tried to pat down her hair. having to pull her clip out and redo it, though she was smiling as she went, not at all cross that her hair had been messed with, when a thought suddenly struck him. Angel was psychic. She knew things before they happened, and if she felt like he was special and extraordinary and worth something, then maybe he was, or at least he would be one day. He smiled at her, reaching out to hug her to his side a moment before slipping an arm back through her. The two of them walking it on in companionable silence until they came to a stop at a military blockade down the road. Can we pass? Angel asked as the soldier walked up to them. Yeah, he nodded. No bother. Curfew doesn't start till 10. There's a curfew? Mickey frowned. Of course there is. Where you been living, mate? Up there with the toss. They looked up at the Zeppelins. I wish. Mickey smiled. See ya. They walked on to another soldier who lifted the barrier for them. Rose and the doctor were walking down the street as Rose explained just where Mickey had run off to. Mickey's mum just couldn't cope. His dad hung around for a while, but then he just sort of wandered off. He was brought up by his gran, she groaned. She was such a great woman. God, she used to slap him. She laughed a bit before sobering quickly. And then she died. She tripped and fell down the stairs. It was about 5 years ago now. I was still in school. I never knew, the doctor mumbled. Well, you never asked. You never said. Angel knew. He told her. He did? The doctor frowned. Why haven't she told him? He shook his head. No, of course she wouldn't tell him. That was a very personal, private fact that Mickey had shared with her. Rose shrugged. That's Mickey. I suppose we just take him for granted, and Angel didn't. Do you think she's still alive? His gran? Could be. The doctor nodded, lost in thought. Like I said, parallel gingerbread house. We need to get out of here as fast as we can. A short alarm sounded and everyone around them froze in place. The duo looking around, very confused. What are they all doing? Oh, stop, the doctor remarked, pausing beside the man and squinting at his earpods. It's the earpieces, like Bluetooth attachments, so everyone's connected together. Rose's phone beeped again and she pulled it out to look at it. It's on my phone. It's automatic. Look, it's downloading. Is this what they're all getting? The doctor looked at her phone over her shoulder, slipping his specs on as Rose scrolled down through the downloads. News, international news, sports, weather, radio direct, downloaded right into their head. TV schedules, lottery numbers, everyone shares the same information. He took the phone from her and looked at it. Daily download published by Cybers Industries. He watched as the updates scrolled down to jokes. Everyone around them started laughing before going on their way, as though that hadn't happened. You lot, you're obsessed. You do anything for the latest upgrade. Wait, not my lot. Different world, remember? It's not so far off from your world. This place is only parallel. He tapped the phone and held it up. Oh, look at that. Cybers Industry is just about Cybers Industry owns just about every company in Britain, including this LizzeXX. Mr. Tyler is very well connected. Rose didn't reply, but just smiled up at him innocently, hope shining in her eyes. He sighed, handing her back the phone. Oh, okay, if I give up. And it took Mickey Steve's grand, let's go and see your dad. Mickey turned a corner to a run-down looking area, leading Angel across the street, slowing down as they drew nearer to one particular door. He took a breath, looking at Angel, who smiled excitedly at him, nodding encouragingly. He smiled a bit, squeezing the hand she'd taken as thanks for her support. Glad he didn't have to face this alone, because if no one answered the door, he'd be crushed. He gathered his courage and sped up, knocking on the door. Who's that there? An elderly woman shouted from inside. The door opened and there was Mickey's blind grandmother, Rita Ann, standing within. Who is it? I know you're there. Shame on you, tricking an old lady. I've got nothing worth stealing. She swung her cane at them. I don't think I'm gonna disappear. You're not gonna take me. Hi, Mickey mumbled. Rita stopped. Is that you? It's me. I came home. Ricky? She reached out to touch his face. It's Mickey. Farewell, Angel whispered a reminder. so quietly not even Rita could hear her. I know my own son's grand name, Rita continued. It's Ricky. Now come here. She reached out further and pulled him to her, hugging him tightly. Okay, Ricky, he grinned, tears in his voice as he hugged her. Cool, Sam. Ricky. That's me. Suddenly he was shoved back and hit on the shoulder, repeatedly. Ow! You stupid boy! Rita shouted, smacking him again. Where have you been? Ow! Stop hitting me! For days and days! She kept on smacking him as Angel laughed silently, amused and slightly confused as to whether this was the normal way for humans to greet each other at times. I keep hearing all these stories. People disappearing off the street. There's nothing of it on the download. She pointed to her AirPods. Angel suddenly frowning at them. But there's all these rumors and whispers. I thought that God had disappeared you. Mickey didn't respond, his attention drawn to the torn carpet on the stair behind her. That carpet on the stairs. I told you to get it fixed. You're gonna. His voice trembled as he closed his eyes. Fall and break your neck. Angel put her hand on his shoulder, soothing it in comfort, knowing that that was how his grandmother had died. The guilt he felt about it. He put a hand on top of hers, returning the squeeze with one of thanks. Well, you get it fixed for me. I should have done it way back. He nodded. Because I'm just kind of useless. Angel squeezed his shoulder again, though this time more of a pinch than anything. He looked at her and she gave him a warning look that clearly told him she'd do it again if he kept calling himself that. Now, I never said that. I am, though. He jerked up a bit, even as Angel rubbed his shoulder this time. I'm sorry, Gran. I'm so sorry. Don't talk like that. Do you know what you need? A nice sit down and a cup of tea. You got something? Angel looked over at Angel. Mickey looked over at Angel, who just nodded with a comforting smile. You, I've got all the time in the world. Bean. This is so like Angel. The doctor would have them running off, probably not even realize how important this was to him. But not Angel. Angel knew him. They talked a lot. He told her things he'd only ever told Rose because he trusted her. She made him feel like a part of the team, like he cared. She did. She let him sit there and have tea with his gran to his heart's content, just to make him happy. And that meant more to him than she could have possibly known, so that someone out there wanted to help him and see him happy. It was one of the reasons he stuck with her. Sure, he was her companion, but even more important, she was his pilot. He could see why Rose was so keen to help and protect the doctor now. If he was even half the person Angel was, then he would have been worth any terror or danger. Rita laughed, pulling him from his thoughts. You say that, but it's all talk. It's those new friends of yours. I don't trust them. What friends are they? Mickey asked, frowning as he glanced at Angel. She was the only friend he could really say he had, at least in this world. Don't pretend you don't know. You've been seeing them. Mrs. Chan told me, driving about all helpless skelter in that van. What's that? What van's that then? You know full well. Don't play games with me. Get inside. Suddenly a bright blue van pulled up behind them. The young man from the scrapyard jumping out and pulling Mickey and Angel into it. I've been looking for you everywhere. He shoved. He shoved the door shut, and the van drove off, leaving a rather startled Rita shouting after them. Ricky, you were the one who told us. Don't contact your family because it puts them in danger. Yeah, Mickey said slowly, not sure what was going on. Ricky said that. Of course I did. Just testing. Who's she? The man asked, eyeing Angel. Angel, she smiled, reaching out to shake his hand as the man stared at her, confused. Nice to meet you. She's with me, Nicky added quickly. Clearly, as Ricky was in charge, and he wasn't about to let him toss Angel out. The man nodded, accepting that, before turning back to him. I saw them. I take them. They went round black fires, gathering up the homeless like a child catcher. They also took a full dozen. The vans were hired out to a company called International Electromagnetic Traumatics, a blonde woman who was driving called back to them. But I did a protocol search. Turns out that's a dummy company established by guess who? Who? Ada asked. Cybers Industries, they shouted. And now we've got evidence, the man smiled at the woman driving. Bad news is, they arrested Finn Jimmy, the woman replied, so that just leaves you. Leaves me what? Mickey shook his head. Number one, the man grinned. Top of the list. London's most wanted. Okay, cool. He nodded before it hit him again. Hit him. Say that again? You're London's most wanted. Angel repeated. Mickey shot her a small smile. Thanks. Limit sat in his Zeppelin, showing Pete and the president a presentation of his invention, diagrams demonstrating as he spoke. The most precious thing on this earth is the human brain, and yet we allow it to die. But now, cyber industry has perfected a way of sustaining the brain indefinitely within a cradle of copyrighted chemicals. And the latest advances in that research allow cyberkinetic impulses to be bonded onto a metal and exoskeleton. This is the ultimate upgrade, our greatest step into cyberspace. I'm sorry, the president cut in. Could we stop it there? Lumic wrenched the breathing apparatus from his face, affronted. I don't need the pitch. I think we all know what this ultimate upgrade entails. And I'm here to tell you, John, the answer is no. Lumic grunted. My government does not give you permission. He stood up, and I think no government ever will. I prepared a paper for the ethical committee. Oh, come on. The president turned to leave. It's not just unequal, it's obscene. Mr. President, if I might make a personal plea, I am dying, sir. I am aware of that, and I'm very sorry. Without this project, you have condemned me. My inventions have advanced. This whole planet, would you have all that perish? You're a fine businessman, John, but you're not God. I'm really very sorry, but I think we should end it there. Mr. Tyler, I'll see you tonight. Pete nodded. I think we could all do with a drink, Mr. Lumic. He turned to leave as Lumic watched, horror struck. Still, it's not the only country in the world, Pete turned to Lumic reassuringly. There's always New Germany. This is my homeland. Lumic shook his head. My birthplace. You may leave. Thank you, sir. Pete stood and left, leaving Lumic alone. Mr. Crane, Lumic called, turning to the monitor. Ready and waiting, sir. Crane appeared on the screen. Did the override work? Well, needs a bit of fine tuning. We weren't exactly delicate given the rush, but yeah, yeah, it's all working. He turned and walked away from the computer, another screen flashing on to show him standing across from a row of homeless men. I've been testing the system, sir. He gestured to the men standing still, dazed, earpods in both ears. They've grafted on a tree, these have. Given a little persuasion, if you care to observe, sir. He pressed the remote control and turned to the right. The men did, and back to the left, and again they obeyed. Are you having fun, Mr. Crane? Lumic demanded coldly. Oh, no, no, not all, sir, no, Crane said sheepishly. It's just, well, it's, irresistible. Then resist and start the upgrade. Did we get permission? I am governed by greater laws, old friend. The right of a man to survive. Now, begin. The screen went to static as Crane turned back to the men. And turned to the left. The men turned. Forward march! The men marched forward, through a door that was held open by a staff member to an area glowing red. As they entered, disappearing from sight, screams resounded. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's cover up that noise. Give us track number 19. A technician applied and the Alliance Sleep Tonight began to blare over the speakers as the machine worked on upgrading the men. Blades whipping down them, the music just barely covering their screams. And that's the end of chapter 20. So I hope you enjoyed. It was good. Feel great. Go review, comment, kudos, all that. Like I said at the beginning, link is in the description below. And be sure to subscribe. Upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. And I'll see you guys next Friday with a new video. Bye!